morning and welcome to Cover 2 Cook. We're on episode 171. We're going to recap the Sunday night football, Monday night football. We're also going to talk about the power rankings and how we ended our fantasy as we're on to playoffs now for some of us. And then we are going to finish the last time. We're not talking about it anymore after this. We are going to talk about this Notre Dame stuff because I love this hate. I love it. I love it. I love it. So we'll finish with that. So let's get it started.
Yeah. I was going to do a vertical jump there. Thank you, Sox.
Travel been to Indiana, and did Cover 2 Cook get you a good hotel?
Indiana? No, I'm in Louisiana. I'm here for Mardi Gras.
I know that this might be hard, but I don't know how much you remember Friday night since we left you damn near when you fell asleep.
I got my belly full, man. I was like, I warm covers and warm. I was like, I could go to sleep right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jack Dorsey.
Final answer?
Yes. All right.
This is going to be a long fucking day.
Welcome back to Cover 2 Cook. We're on episode 171. I'm here with Anthony, Tim, and we need to recap Sunday night and Monday night football, so let's get right into it. Tim, what was your reactions to Sunday night football with the Texans versus Chiefs?
I think for Houston, I think they played great offense in the first half, but they kind of let up in the second half. I think they took their pedal. They took their foot off the gas and let the Chiefs start to keep playing. They had some forced turnovers. Stroud hit Jaden Higgins. It was just like they couldn't get anything going in the third quarter. On defense, Houston, you know why they're the number one defense in the NFL. Yeah. That defense made Patrick Mahomes very bad. I feel like with the two teams that played on Sunday night that were in the Super Bowl last year, they're struggling right now. And I'm telling you right now, either one may not make the playoffs this year. Yeah. I think the Eagles will, but I don't think the Chiefs will. They just seem like the defense showed up. That's why they're number one for the Chiefs. The offense, inability to separate. They can't get away from the defenders in the secondary. They couldn't do anything. Mahomes looked like garbage again. He had 3 interceptions. I mean, it's just he probably played his worst game he's ever played. 160 yards passing. On defense, they played like garbage again. But they in that third quarter, that was the big key. They got back in the game. They forced five straight punts for Houston, but they just couldn't. Chris Jones was causing havoc. They were playing really well, and then they just couldn't get going again. I mean, they just can't get anything moving. This may be the first time since 2014 they're not making the playoffs, and I don't think they are. They'll have to run the table. They'd have to win the next 4 and hope that the Chargers lose at least 2, maybe even 3. They're going to have a lot of help. I think the Colts, by what they've got going on, may help them, but I don't think they're going to make it. I really don't.
Yeah, they definitely don't look like the same Chiefs team that we've been seeing. And honestly, I think I'm okay with giving them a break and seeing a new wave of talent come through. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to see what's going to come out of their, conference. Anthony, what did you think about this game?
Yeah, I definitely agree. We talked about the Texans defense. They also just not the 3 interceptions. They caused the Chiefs to be less than 30% on third down. They got them off the field, and that's what you need to do with the Chiefs. You got to get them off the field. For the Texans, though, Nico Collins had a great game, right? But they got to have more options than just Nico Collins. Like, there's going to have to be players that step up on that offensive side. When you say that the Chiefs are officially done, right here's a crazy stat. Patrick Mahomes did have 3 interceptions, but he almost had as much rushing yards as Pacheco and Hunt together in this game. You can't do that. But Mahomes can't be the one that's getting all your rushing yards. You have to run the ball. I was just a little surprised by the Chiefs because the season's on the line. You're at home, and this is the fight you give up. I felt like I thought that eventually it would just turn around for them. It kind of felt like the Super Bowl when you're like, okay, but the Chiefs are not out of this. And then the game just kept going, and you're like, okay, the Chiefs got to get going, and they just never did. Great win by Texans. I will tell you right now, if C.J. Stroud never had that injury or the concussion, this might be a whole different team kind of coming through. And they are in a division where everyone's climbing for it. I don't believe in the Jags. I don't believe in the Colts with this injury now. I don't be surprised if the Texans win this division.
Yeah, those Colts are definitely interesting for sure.
Anthony, I think their secondary, that Lassiter, is really good.
Yep.
They really defended their wide receivers and the Chiefs. I mean, that defense is for real, and I think they could get them pretty far. That defense could take them pretty far, just like Denver.
Yeah. Well, and I would say that hit that on Rice, that one where he jacked him up, it was like, oh shit.
Well,
I mean, they not just coverage, but they hit.
Yeah.
They come to hit.
Even
too.
the one with Kelsey. That, I mean, he was like, he was knocked out.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's move over to Monday night. Anthony, take me through the recap of what happened with the Eagles and Chargers.
So right off the bat, how much of the regular game did we watch?
None.
0. We watched the Monsters Inc. game because I think that is so awesome. I will say right now, they explain the rules. They explain what the red zone is. They just try to get kids involved in this. I will also say it's hilarious because Jalen Hurts would just fall over, where if you were watching the game, you're going to see he's going to take a hit, okay? I would say if I did have a kid, that's how I would want to watch it. I think it was a great atmosphere. This game would go into overtime, which was sealed to end the game with Hurts throwing his 4th interception in this game. Chargers played their game. They played their game. They won the time of possession. They won the turnover battle. And they had more rushing yards than the Eagles did. That right there is hardball football. He wants the time of possession. He wants the rushing yards. Now on the Eagles side, too many field goals. You got to execute touchdowns in this. That's the difference from last year's team and this year. It just feels like they're playing timid. If you look at the stats outside of Jalen Hurts' stats, you would say, well, the Eagles had to have won this game. Saquon had over 100 rushing yards. A.J. Brown had over 100 receiving yards. But Jalen Hurts might have caused some people to not even get into their fantasy and things like that because of their points. I think he had, 0.4 for his fantasy. Crazy. Final thing, Eagles, you just keeping the Cowboys around because they're only 2 games back. There's 4 left. You put this win in, you're making it 3 with 4 to go. You can clinch it next week. It's all this, but you can't. I will say this does look like the Eagles are struggling, and if the season would end today, the wild card teams for the NFC would have better records than the Eagles and Bucks, which now brings up the conversation of reseeding, even though the wild cards, because those 2 teams would have home field advantage when the wild card teams have better records. But great win by the Chargers, keeping with the Broncos, because the Broncos are they are right there. They could almost win that division.
Yeah, I have 2 thoughts on this. I mean, the creativity that they put into the Monsters Inc. and whenever they do any of those, cartoon animated games is unbelievable. Like how they bring in all the characters and their tricks and trades, and it was really cool to watch, and it was just fun. I could see how kids could be entertained with that. My second thought on this is I am not recognizing these quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes, having these record high interceptions for a game, basically out of their whole season. Like that is just unheard of. Something must be going on. Maybe they're aging. Maybe they've been hit too many times that they keep having to get up. I don't know, but this doesn't sound like the typical Patrick and Jalen that we usually talk about. So maybe someone else steps up. Let's see. Tim, what did you think about this game?
I want to piggyback on what you just said there too. Since A.J. Brown started speaking up 3 games ago, this team is 0-3. We're getting the ball to A.J. now, but the team's not winning. Yep. The team was winning when A.J. wasn't getting the ball. Coincidence? Maybe. I think this game was a hot mess of a game. I think the DC for the Chargers had an awesome game plan for Jalen Hurts and that whole team. He got pressure, 4 interceptions, including 1 in the end zone, but also Vic Fangio did too. I seen there was a couple times where Herbert took some hell of shots, and he actually landed right on that hand that was surgically repaired, and he jumped right back up. That hand, the glove looks like a Mickey Mouse hand. Looked like he went down to Disneyland and got that off of Mickey. But anyway, but you know what? Also, too, the offense, Herbert's legs kind of saved him. He had some pretty good runs. But even Barkley, you would have thought with Barkley at the 122 yards rushing, you would have thought they would have won this game. I still think them injuries on the offensive line is still killing them. It's still killing them. They, like you said, they blew a big opportunity to get this, but they get a homecoming game next week against the Raiders. But then they play the Raiders, Commanders twice, and Buffalo in between that whole area.
Yeah.
I still think Dallas might sneak in there because of that tie. They might sneak in there and win that division.
Yep.
That you had a perfect opportunity to seal this division. You didn't, and now you've let Dallas right back in this.
Yep.
That's not good. And if they don't get this straightened out, they could be a one and done come playoff time.
Well, and just what you're saying too, they were up 2. They could have been up 3 if they win this game. Where 4 games, even if you drop the Buffalo game, right? You lose that game, but now you got to sweep the Commanders, and I think that's possible because the Vikings just beat the shit out of them. But even if you drop 2 there, you could have the same records with them having that tie going into the playoffs, which would then put the Cowboys in there. This is not good for the Eagles.
So
Go ahead.
I was just curious because I always thought the tie would hurt a team.
No.
I wasn't expecting it to help the team.
Yeah, because it's not a loss.
Yeah.
That helps them because now you have one less loss. That's where the tie comes into effect because now the other team might have one more loss, and now they don't have a loss; they have a tie. That's where you go by percentage of your record instead of wins losses percentage. You go by the whole deal.
Well, and you got to remember they're split.
Right.
Because the Cowboys came back and won that other game, and the Eagles won week 1. So now they're split too as well.
Yeah. So it goes by in what you've done in your division. But Anthony, you were talking about that one play where he throws the ball, intercepts it, and then they run it back. They fumble it. He fumbles it again. They said that was a 4-point swing.
Yep.
That is hardly ever. They said the last time that's happened, 1978 is the last time a 4-point swing. They said I think it was a Giants game or something. That has been it was Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. The ball got over, and he went to go get the ball and threw an interception. They've never seen that since, which that can't be Lamar Jackson, but it's been a long time since this has happened. A 4-point swing. If like you said, if you had Hurts and all you needed was 3 points to win, and get you 0.4. Oh, yeah. Not good.
Yikes. Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't sound like the typical score you hear coming out of Patrick or Jalen's fantasy results.
No.
Well, Tim, let's actually talk about your betting real quick because you had one more game on the line. Do I get to change your name or are you staying Tim?
No, we're staying Tim. I had the Texans. I said the final score would be 19-17. I was a little off, 20-10. But yeah, I went 2-2. The college didn't help me going 0-2. But the pros came back around, and I got 2-2. So
good. Nice. I like to hear it. Well, let's move over to fantasy, and hopefully we can keep the ball rolling. It's Anthony. I'll start with you. How'd you finish?
Nope. Finished finished second in the league for scoring and 8-game losing streak. So I am in last place going into playoffs. If I lose the bracket, because that's how my league does it, where the brackets. If I end up losing it, then I'm the biggest loser. Biggest loser. I had 2,000 points against me, which is on average 140 points. Record. They're going to make a documentary about this because that's how bad this was.
Have you ever finished last before?
No.
Okay.
So, yeah, this was tough.
Yeah, I don't want it to happen now, so hopefully you win this first round.
Yeah.
Tim, please give me some good news. How did you finish this week?
I finished in 7th. In our league, the top 2 teams were 9-5. We had 5 people at 8-6.
Wow.
I didn't have enough points to get me to the 6th seed. I finished at 7th. I was 40-some points below the 6th seed.
Oh,
it just wasn't enough. Any other year in this league I've been in for 13 years, any other time 8-6 is getting you in the playoffs. There's no doubt about it. Even 7-7, but 8-6, it wasn't enough. I just didn't score enough points this year.
Yeah,
and I had a decent team. I just didn't score enough points.
Yeah, you scrambled all year to get this team.
Well, it sounds like you had a lot of luck on your side to even get 8-6.
Yeah,
where I had all the bad luck, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so does that mean you don't make it into playoffs?
We do not, and we don't do what your fantasy does. We just, you're done. I mean, you can fill your lineup if you want, but it's not going to count towards anything. You can't get anybody off waiver wire. You can't. You just fill it in and just let it play out. And the top 6 is what matters now. Whoever's in the playoffs. The top 2 is a get buys, which is 9-5. I think both of them are 9-5. Like I said, I'm only one game away from first. I mean, if I had the points, there's no doubt I've been in it. So
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Well, Anthony, I can't believe it, but we're banking on you to win out here.
Yeah. 8 losses in a row, so good luck.
Yeah.
Just break the egg. You got this. We believe in you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I got a punishment for you.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, let's move into some other news with the NFL. So we were talking about the Colts a little bit. There was a little rumor that Tyler Warren was going to be, the backup, but it actually seems like Phillip Rivers is working out with the Colts and will be the backup or the starting quarterback. What is going on with that, Anthony?
Yeah, so he was signed to the practice squad. So let's just take a beat.
Okay.
I don't know if he would play this week per se, but when you go out and go get Sauce Gardner and you go and make this playoff run and you lose that starting quarterback, you got to go make it. We were wondering the same thing about the Bengals all year. When Joe Burrow got hurt, we were like, okay, they got to go get someone. They just kept putting this Browning out there and sucking and blah, blah, blah. Colts, obviously, Phillip Rivers. And you're sitting here being like, Phillip Rivers, he did play for them. Not the greatest years of his career, but he did play for him. So he already kind of knows the playbook. He's played with these coaches. So I think he'll be there, but I think Leonard will get the start. I know he's got a knee problem, but I think he'll get the start.
Okay. But Tim, when was the last time Phillip Rivers played? Isn't he been out of the league for a little while?
5 years. The last time he played was in a wild card game, 2020.
Yeah.
So, and I know they didn't win that game, but he's got. Can he be the next Tom Brady? I doubt it, but he could be a serviceable backup for you. He may have to play a couple games because who are they going to bring up in the press? Because they're still in it. That's why I think they went out and got him.
Yeah.
Because they still are mathematically still in it. If they lose out, you could see the GM. I think that the gal that runs the team now, the Ursay gal, she may have to look a hard look into the GM, Chris Ballard. I really do. Because why can't you have – because here's the deal. I mean, you didn't have a okay. You didn't have another quarterback lined up other than Riley Leonard?
Yeah,
Come
but
on, man.
you had Anthony Richardson, which is
on IR.
Yes. So I don't think the GM gets fired because of injuries. I mean,
I just don't think they have enough. They played so well, and now this is now going to you went in to win it, and he didn't do it. I don't know. I think there's got to be a hard look at it. I really do.
Yeah, I don't.
Whether you fire him or not, he might be on a one year deal.
Well, and remember, this is an Achilles injury, so it's good chance he's not back the start of next year.
Exactly.
So you're going to have to deal with that as well. So who's your quarterback? I would say this sucks for the Vikings because I want Anthony Richardson, but it might be Anthony Richardson that's starting the year off next year.
Right. Yeah, they might be able to get rid of him now.
Yeah.
If anybody would want him. So
I'm just so shocked that this is happening because I just don't feel like it happens when you leave the league 5 years ago and they're asking you to come back. I just think it's crazy.
Well, and he's a finalist for the Hall of Fame, so he could be a Hall of Famer playing, which I don't know how that all works now because I know you have to be out for so long before you can go to the Hall of Fame. So if he comes back in, does that end his? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
That is crazy. Wow. And to stay in shape, after 5 years being in the league,
Aaron Donald could come back today.
Hey, he's got 11 kids. He should still be in shape.
Yeah.
He said what was it that the oldest kid is older than one of the players on the team?
Well, he'll be in college next year.
Yes.
oh
Yeah.
my
Right.
God.
Yes.
So, he could pull a LeBron and play with his own kid if he can make it 3 more years.
Yeah, okay.
That's crazy. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, I read that today or heard that today.
Wow. Well, we'll see. We'll see how Riley does. Hopefully he can pull out, or maybe we'll see, a retiree come back in. Alrighty, well, let's move on to the power rankings, which is kind of surprising here as well. It's the same as last week. Nobody moved around. We have the Rams in first place, Seahawks in second, Broncos stayed at third, Patriots in 4th, and the Packers are in 5th. Like, there was no movement. I'm kind of shocked on this. Anthony, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, it makes sense. All these teams won. They all did what they're supposed to do. College football committee would obviously flip some of them because they're a bunch of idiots, but we'll talk about that later. No, if anyone, I think the Packers. I think the Packers beating the Bears. I will say the Texans moved up from 14 to 7. That's a team to keep an eye out for. While the Eagles dropped from 7 to 12, and that's another one too to kind of keep an eye out for because of this losing streak, they're getting looked at a little differently. I think the Patriots and Broncos and all that are good. It's crazy to think the NFC West has 2 teams in the top 2 right there, 1 and 2, Rams and Seahawks.
Yeah, most definitely. Tim, how do you feel about it?
Where's the Lions at here?
No.
I don't know.
I mean, you were on their junk earlier in the year, and look at how that's. So if I'm a Lions fan, I'm saying
I don't know. I mean, I think the Lions you got to be getting close. I mean, the Lions got to be close to be the top 5.
no.
Just saying.
No.
Just saying.
I mean, if the Lions are, then the Bears are, because the Bears have a better record than the Lions.
Oh, where's the Bears at? I mean, they couldn't have fallen much.
They went to 6. They were 6.
Okay, so I mean that makes sense. Lions got to be 7 or 8. I mean,
no.
Okay. We'll find out in a couple weeks when they play the Bears.
That's right. Well, and then the Packers play them again soon too. So we'll have
next Saturday.
2 testimonies there for sure. Well, let's move over to Thursday Night Football where we have the Falcons versus Buccaneers. Tim, what do you think about this game? Do you think it's going to be a good one?
No, I doubt it. Tampa Bay's got to win. Tampa Bay's got to win to keep ahead of Carolina. So I mean that's going to be what are you going to get with Baker? I mean that they've got to play better. Atlanta, I mean I think they're done. I mean they got Kirk Cousins playing. I mean I don't see them putting up much of a fight. I think is it at Tampa Bay? Yeah. That field might be kind of tore up too from the last game. So, but yeah, Baker's got to win. Baker loses, that puts a lot of pressure. I mean, pressure on them to beat me. They may have to sweep Carolina to win that division. If they lose Thursday night, they'll have to beat Carolina both games, and that's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Anthony, how do you feel about this game?
Yeah, this is an NFC South game. No NFC South game should be a standalone game. I'm just going to say that right off the bat because they're so hit or miss. This might be a great game. And it could be an absolute garbage game at the same time. So, I think the Bucs have to win as well. Kirk Cousins getting a little Thursday night. We all know how he is on standalone games. He is trash. So, we'll find out. But, yeah, I think Bucs win this one.
Okay. Well, stay tuned, and we'll be sure to recap that on next episode. All right. Well, let's transition into college football, and I'm going to give Anthony the reins here because he had a point he wants to make.
Yeah, so right off the bat, I got my Grinch tie on. I'm feeling a little different today. If you thought we were done with this saga, you're crazy. Right off the bat, I love all this Notre Dame hate. I love it because we live rent-free in people's minds, and I love it. First off the bat, I posted something, a lot of comments. Join a conference. Why? Everyone, is there any other team that can do what we do? No, I don't believe it. Alabama needs the SEC. Georgia needs the SEC. Ohio State needs the Big Ten. Nobody can do what Notre Dame does by being a national brand without needing some other assistance of a conference. All committee did in this thing was turn the hate from them to Notre Dame. That's all they did when they put Miami in. They made it so that, we made Miami good. Not talking about Alabama, not doing anything like that. They made it all about Notre Dame and Miami, which we know how that was going to come. In your first round, you will have point spreads of 17 and 21. 21 points in favor of Oregon, 17 points in favor of Ole Miss. I think that one could be even higher in all reality. So congratulations, College Playoff Committee. There you go. That's what you bring in by giving participation trophies to the rest of college football. Now, we got to talk about Notre Dame not playing in a bowl game. Obviously, we recorded. That was a lot going on. It is sad that players and band and cheerleaders and parents of players that will not get to see them play one more time. And as fans, I want to see them play one more time. But who do I blame? I blame the committee. Because for a month, we thought Notre Dame was going to be in the playoffs. All you had to do was win out. That's all you had to do. And then they get the rug taken out of them on Sunday. Now, some people say, what about the extra practice time? These 3 weeks of practice time. With what team? You know, the Love and Price and some of these defensive players are not going to play. With what team? Oh, wait, there's this thing called transfer portal that opens up very soon. So what about that? Why would you even practice with what team you have, okay? And then also, I can tell whether you've played college sports or not because as a Division III, Division III, the lowest, they own you. So guess what? After the football season ends, you can maybe get a couple weeks off, and then you're in a lifting program. So you're already a part of what they're going to be doing. They may give you the Christmas break and come back after Christmas break. D1? I doubt it. I bet they have you on a lifting program right after this. Now, Notre Dame doesn't play in a bowl game. So let's talk about some of these notable bowl games, okay? The Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. That is one of these games, okay? Clemson versus Penn State, which is the two biggest disappointments in college football this year. Or you could play in the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl because that's where Fresno State and the Miami of Ohio are going to be playing in. For God's sake, Snoop Dogg has a bowl. That's how big of a joke these are. Oh, Notre Dame doesn't want to play in a bowl game. They don't want to take the bowl. They didn't want to play in a Pop-Tarts. Who the hell even eats Pop-Tarts anymore for them to play in a Pop-Tarts bowl? Finally, I said there would be repercussions for this. And let's talk about that. Starting next year, Notre Dame is guaranteed a playoff spot if they're ranked in the top 12. So if you take that this year, that bumps Miami out and puts Notre Dame in.
Anthony, stop for 1 second. This was agreed upon before the season even started.
But it doesn't go into effect until next year.
So I mean, I want people to realize just because of this that happened. No. They agreed upon this before this season even started.
Yep.
So don't think, well, because of this happening, they get this automatically. No, they don't. This was agreed upon earlier in the year.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And if the field goes from 12 to 14, this would, and if the 12 from 12 to 14, then the Notre Dame would have to finish in the top 13 to get them into a guaranteed. So people out there, is Alabama got this rule? Well, if you win your conference. What about Ohio State? Do you guys get this? Nobody else gets this except for Notre Dame. So all you people that hate us, even college football committee and college football know that this brand that's right behind me is bigger than any other college and college football. Have they won recently? No, maybe they haven't. They've made it to national championships, but I'll tell you right now, you guys hate us because you ain't us. I'm done talking about this. We'll talk about Notre Dame next year when they go to win a national championship because that's what they're going to do. But I'm tired of all this hate because I am just relishing in it because you want to be us and you can't be us.
Well, and then on top of that, they make a deal with that because they realize how special Notre Dame is, but they don't want to, publicize that.
Well, and join a conference. Why? College football committee is going to sign something like this to go into effect? Why would we sign a conference? And
Definitely.
And then all these teams, all they do is bitch about their conferences. Miami bitched about it. And then I will say this final thing real quick. Did you hear any hate from any of the ESPN analysts about Alabama on the college football committee and all that? Did you hear any of that? No. Oh, maybe because it's ESPN and SEC have ties. So you want to talk about corrupt and playing by their own rules? That is college football now. So if you hate it, be mad at the whole situation. And at the same time, is Notre Dame playing by their rules? Yes, they are. Because they are the only team that can stay independent and still be relevant.
Indeed. Tim, what do you think about all that?
Well, and here's another deal, too. They just signed a contract with the NBC, a couple years ago for $50 million a year. Any Big Ten team right now gets $60 million. But then there's called revenue sharing.
Yep.
You've got to share that. Notre Dame don't have to do that.
Yep.
They keep it all in their pockets. I'm just worried. Do you think that there's going to be repercussions by people of Aqua going after the ACC commissioner, Jim Phillips? Jim Phillips going to say, you know what? We're thinking about, because this is the only sport that they don't play in the ACC.
Right.
All the other sports do play in the ACC. Do you see where the commissioner says, okay, we're going to reevaluate Notre Dame in the ACC on all other sports?
I think it's the other way around. I think because ACC was so strong on Miami being in over Notre Dame, that the AD for Notre Dame said this is long-term permanent repercussions.
Right.
And he's already stated. And then the AD for Miami was like, well, we never compared them or said that Notre Dame. They got on their hands and knees and, oh, no, please don't leave us.
Yeah.
Don't leave us. And I
Right.
will tell you right now, they would be the best thing for Notre Dame if ACC said, no, we're done. Because Notre Dame doesn't want to be tied to the ACC. They only did it because of COVID year. In all reality, if they were going to sign with a conference, it makes so much more sense to go to the Big Ten than it does anywhere else. So ACC, you saw when you guys got your wish, which was Miami in, but then the AD said, no, you guys talked bad about us. And the AD goes, oh, well, we didn't talk bad about you. Oh, that just shows the ACC.
Yeah.
Well, and if Notre Dame was in the conference and they were in the ACC, Miami wouldn't be in the playoffs right now. We already talked about that, but
It would have been Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Because, and honestly, the whole thing is I'm not mad about whether Miami or Notre Dame or whatever. I'm mad that the committee, just like the AD, they gave this blanket that it was okay and everything was great. And then, then Alabama gets their ass spanked, which it kind of seems like they sensed that when they moved them up to 9. That's the problem I have. Put rules into this thing. So you know what Notre Dame says? We do play by our own rules, and you guys are going to play by our rules going forward.
Well, there's just too much money involved with Notre Dame. You've got to have them in the playoffs because there's too much viewership. There's too much fandom. There's too much alumni. There's too much. They've been relevant. I mean, their name's for over 100 years. I mean, you've got to have them in there because of the viewership. You get some of these stinkers like James Madison and Tulane, you're not going to get any viewership. And the final thing, committee, best 12 teams. Stop this participation. Like you said, stop the participation trophy with these teams. 12 best teams, bar none. End of story.
Earn it.
One other thing I'll say too is Notre Dame not doing the bowl game. People are like, oh, they're running away. So many teams already this year have said they're not playing in a bowl game because they mean nothing while the transfer portal opens up and all this. So you want to blame Notre Dame, but you should be blaming college football because the transfer portal is stupid. NIL is getting out of hand. So this is now a time where why these 3 weeks? I'd rather have Freeman going out there and going to get recruits or going out there and getting transfer portal to bring back. The only concern that I have is that Marcus Freeman's name is going to be left open for positions. Penn State just got their guy, so at least that place is off the hands now. But the New York Giants haven't got their guy yet, and Freeman's name's getting spread around a lot. I will say right now, if Freeman leaves Notre Dame, my tone is going to change a little bit different, okay? I could talk this way because we got Freeman.
Right.
Until Freeman leaves, I'm a little nervous.
And Anthony, one last thing. I think the bowl games will be over within the next 5 or 10 years.
Yep.
They're done. They're done because players don't want to play in them.
Yep.
And all they care about is the playoffs. And if the playoffs really expand, the bowl games will be done.
Yep.
Plain and simple. We won't have to worry about that.
And they'll put it to Notre Dame and say why this is all ended. In all reality, if you go look at these bowl games, the Pop-Tarts is the best bowl. You took all the good bowls. You took the Cotton Bowl. You took the Rose Bowl. You took all those to put them in the playoffs. So now there's just meaningless games. And we saw even last year, Shadur played a half or didn't even play, and then Cam Ward played a half or something like.
Right.
Why even do that shit? Why even do it? So. All right, well, that is episode 171. We talked about the NFL with the recaps. We talked about the power rankings. And then the final time of talking about this Notre Dame thing, because going forward, we, even though we're fans of Notre Dame, will talk about what the games are going to look like because I think the first games are going to be absolute garbage. I think the teams that got in are garbage. So that's besides the point. If you like what we do, follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all those as well. We appreciate you guys. We'll be back on Friday where we'll be talking about the Army-Navy game, how great that is. We'll talk about who we think wins the Heisman, and we'll talk about must-watch games in the NFL as we're getting close to playoff time there too. So some of these games just mean a little bit more. Have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you on Friday.